Next up in the book, still talking about cycling through different techniques in combination with the indirect and deferred method of phase entry, aka entering into a lucid dream, astral projection, or OBE. If you want a more detailed explanation on what the indirect technique and deferred methods are, check my previous posts. I've been talking about it a bunch in the recent videos. However, a quick recap of it is, it's basically wake back to bed with a few specific tweaks thrown in there, where after you have this natural awakening, you want to remain in bed, immediately try to fall back asleep, so don't move, try not to open your eyes. And then upon falling back asleep is when you're going to implement these different techniques that we're going over. Give them a try for 3 to 5 seconds. If it works, great, all good. If it doesn't work, drop that specific technique and try another one for another 3 to 5 seconds. Give this about a minute or so of effort cycling through these different techniques. If they work, great. If not, then just drop the whole thing, fall back asleep as you typically, with the intention of trying again upon your next awakening. So in the previous video, I talked about by far my main way of doing this after having a brief awakening, which is by observing images, basically playing around in the whole hypnagogic liminal space area. However, the only other one I routinely make use of is rotating, or actually I tend to tilt more than rotate, and he has some interesting stuff to say in here. Immediately after waking from sleep, remain motionless, eyes closed. Imagine the physical body is rotating along an axis for 3 to 5 seconds. Meanwhile, this is an important little point of info that I don't hear said a lot and works quite well. Meanwhile, move your pupils to the side you're rotating towards, but don't open your eyes. If no unusual sensation occur, try another technique. If vibration occur during rotation or the movement suddenly feels realistic, then continue the rotation technique as long as there is progress in the sensations development. Another important point there. There are several possible outcomes when rotation is practiced. The imagined rotation is replaced by a very real sensation of rotating along an imagined axis. When this occurs, the practitioner may easily leave the stencil body. The other outcome is the sudden presence of strong vibrations or loud sounds, amid which separation from the stencil is possible. Now that one doesn't happen to me all that often. During rotation, separation has been known to spontaneously occur, and the practitioner practitioner enters the phase. Training. To practice rotation, imagine revolving around the head to foot axis for several minutes while lying down, eyes closed. It is not necessary to focus on the visual effects of rotation or minute sensations in the body. The key factor is the vestibular sensation that arises from internal rotation. As a rule, many practitioners experience difficulty performing full rotation. One person might be limited to 90 degrees of movement, where another experiences 180 degrees. With consistent, correct practice, full 360-degree rotation will occur. So for me, like, I have a problem trying to make this full rotation 360 spin. I prefer just a tilt. Typically, I like to tilt backwards, although I found tilting to the side has occasionally worked as well. And yeah, that is a pretty solid technique. That another one I kind of just stumbled into. It didn't really read much other places because I wasn't in the whole OBE scene too much and more just in the lucid dreaming scene. But that's another one where I made a video on it. Someone commented, "Hey, sounds like this book. You should do a little book review of it." And then just to see this other area of the book where he talks about rotating again. For 3 to 5 seconds, try to imagine rotating to either side along your head to toe axis as vividly as possible. If no sensations arise, switch to another technique. If a real or even slight sensation of rotation arises, focus your attention on this technique and rotate even more energetically. As soon as the sensation of rotating becomes stable and real, you should try to separate again, using it as a starting point. And so for me, like, because I'm so used to the visual side, even when I am doing my tilting thing, I typically won't try to rise up out of my body. I just start waiting for these hypnagogic type images to pop up, and then I'll do my regular image type entrance into the phase. But that's how it works for me. You know, as you play around with this stuff, I'm sure you'll find specific ones that work best for you. And for now, that will wrap it up. Until the next video, keep your phase practice legit.